So nice, they did it twice. The Atlanta Braves win both ends of the doubleheader to clinch the series on Saturday and win 3 out of 4 games for the first time since early July. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That is Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. Follow him on social media at Shortstop Ball. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Braves, wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. I'm sure Jake has a deep dive coming on the likelihood that Nick Allen gets a home run between now and the end of the year. But Jake, we got some wins to talk about. It's kind of nice to talk about 2 wins in one day. If we had to talk about 2 losses, that might break me. That might be the last podcast I'm able to do. Atlanta takes the early game 7-1 behind a fantastic outing from Hurston Waldrep. Atlanta takes the nightcap 8-6 with they're down 4-0 and they rally in this one and come back. Do you want to go game by game, or do you just want to talk about general trends from the day? Because I think there's easy guys on both pitching and position player wise to shout out as these guys had awesome days at the yard.
I think where I want to go first is the offense.
Okay.
Because we've been talking about it a lot, really since that Freddie Peralta start.
Mm-hmm.
The at-bats just look better. I mean, maybe it's a short sample size. Maybe I'm just trying to be as optimistic as I can. But you go back to the game on Wednesday, 4 runs in a game started by Freddie Peralta. You score 8 on Thursday night. You only score the 1. Edward Cabrera, gets you on Friday night. But even in that game, I mean, at least early on, I thought some of the at-bats were good before Cabrera just really settled in. And then today, you score 7, you score 8 runs. And what I loved, especially in the second game too, just the at-bats in general, just how good they get or how good they look. In particular, Drake Baldwin and Ozzie Albies actually in this one too. Yeah. You saw Drake Baldwin twice just shoot a ball the other way for RBI base hits. And you saw Ozzie Albies in a 2-strike situation shoot the ball the other side. They were shifting him, basically had the third baseman at shortstop and just shot it the other way for a hit. Even Profar in his last at bat in the 8th inning of the second game of the doubleheader with a 10-11 pitch at bat, he winds up striking out. But I mean, he was just missing a couple of those pitches and had a long at bat there. And he's had, I think, 7 walks already in this series. So, I mean, it's good at bats up and down the order. And it's just really exciting to see, gives me some kind of hope for next year and what this offense could be. Hopefully, again, that is thinking optimistically. That's what Eddie on X sent me that message as well, said if they keep this up, the offense might actually give me hope for 2026. And that's kind of how I feel too. I mean, if the at-bats can continue to look like this and just quality of at-bats, no matter what the results, this offense is going to have to score 6, 7, 8 runs a game to win with this pitching staff right now. But what I really am looking for and what my biggest talking point was at the trade deadline or the halfway mark is, what is this offense going to look like? What is the identity? And if this is it, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about what it could be going forward.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, and you still saw some of the ugly swings, right? Everybody's going to have that. Ozzie had a swing in the dirt where the ball bounced and he had to catch it and give it back to the catcher. But for the most part, Jurickson Profar, all those pitches, he took a couple pitches in the zone, but in that 11 pitch at bat you're referencing, it was just for a reliever in Simpson, it was just rotating stuff. It was curveball, followed by changeup, followed by sweeper, followed by slider, a 4-seamer. And he's sticking in there. He's fouling everything off. He ended up just missing on a slider, but it's they're seeing the ball well. And they're, to your point, they're drawing walks. They're moving the line. And I don't want to be that guy. I know there's a lot of there's a lot of latent frustration in the fan base with this name. But if this is the Tim Hires offense, you feel like, okay, this is what the Tim Hires offense can do. Now, obviously, we have a big track record earlier in the year while it was still a little bit newer of it not working. but so many guys since the All-Star break, it feels like have really been a lot more comfortable at the plate, and especially in the series. Michael Harris, he goes, what was it? He was 2 for 4 with a homer and 3 RBI in the first game. He's 2 for 4 in the second game. He's brought his average up to 240. I mean, from where he was earlier in the year. Drake Baldwin, 2 for 5, 3 RBI. To your point, it does give me hope as well. I wrote this the other day on the newsletter. You really had to fix, like, you needed more consistency from an Austin Riley and a Matt Olson and guys like that. But you really had to fix 4 spots in the lineup: center field, left field, second base, and shortstop. And while Nick Allen doesn't have his home run, you pointed out before we got on that he has like 6 expected home runs. My dude's been incredibly unlucky. He's that homer. But left field, Jurickson Profar, to your point, has looked much better. He even made a great defensive catch. We'll talk about that in a second. But he's looked much better at the plate. Michael Harris looks much better. Even Ozzy's looks like he's doing what he needs to do. And so if 3 of the 4 spots are fixed, I mean, you're kind of in a situation where you feel a lot better going into the offseason of you can afford to be selective versus having to desperately find hitters and then find a place to put them in the lineup. You can be a little more selective with who you bring in, or maybe a little more concentrated in where you spend the money.
Yeah. And look, I've said it on here before too. I mean, these players are somewhat playing for their jobs. We don't know how drastic the Braves are going to get in the offseason. I mean, they moved Nacho to second base at the minor league level, I think, is a precursor to maybe set him up to replace Ozzy. Now, he keeps striking out 4 times in a game. I don't know that he's going to be replacing anybody. He still looks pretty bad right now at the dish, but that at least signaled to me that the Braves are open to the idea of moving on from Ozzy, and which means I think they're open to moving on from anybody to try to make this team better. So a lot of these guys, they're auditioning to stay on this team going forward, and it just looks really good. I mean, it just looks like competitive at bats, even when they're not getting the results. Like I said, the strikeout from Profar in the 8th inning. I mean, it's still just a quality at bat, and you're able to grind out a reliever like that and make him throw 10 pitches. I mean, it's just a level and quality of at bats that you're seeing right now, or something we haven't really seen a lot of consistently from this team this year. Just posted a second ago, it was the first time they've got back-to-back wins since the All-Star break. I mean, this team's been really bad. But to see that at least the offense, we know how bad the pitching is right now, but the offense to at least string together some consistent games like this of just putting up good at bats is very encouraging. And Ozuna too. And look, Ozuna's playing for a contract at this point. I mean, and he doesn't know how much playing time he's going to get. He's got to make the most of it, and certainly did today.
Yeah. Okay. The Jurickson Profar catch. So in game 1, let's set this up. Top of the 4th inning, Augustin Ramirez, catcher who is battling Drake Baldwin for Rookie of the Year, is up, and Hurston Waldrep gives him a splitter in the zone, sent out to left. Jurickson Profar leaps up, and he's like, I'm watching the replay right now on the other screen. He's horizontal on top of the wall, glove into the bullpen to catch the ball. Is this the catch of the year? Because I feel like Michael Harris has made that catch maybe 3 times. Are we calling this the catch of the year because Jurickson Profar is just bad at defense? So when he makes it, it's a bigger deal than Michael Harris, who kind of does this routinely?
Yeah, I mean, I think give Profar credit on this one. This one was pretty far over. I mean, he had to reach pretty far over to get this one. So I'm going to give him some credit for that. It is also just a player. I mean, we're over here talking about how awful he is defensively and how you can't stick him in the outfield. And then he does something like that. So I think that does add a little bit to it. But yeah, I mean, he did have to go way over. So I'm going to give him some credit on that and say it's definitely up there for catch of the year.
Yeah. All right. In just a second, let's talk about the pitching here. Hurston Waldrep looked fantastic in game 1. Eric Fetty got through game 2. We'll do all of that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason's already heating up. The Falcons played tonight. The defense looked good. college football isn't far behind. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long, more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before week 1 kicks off. Whether you got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. For example, you can grab something like for a season-long pick, Josh Allen for more or less than 27.5 touchdowns, something like that. I've used Prize Picks for a couple seasons now. I really enjoy how easy it is. It's fun to just kind of sometimes go with vibes if I have a feeling about how a game's going to go. You can just fire off a lineup real quick while I'm making a cup of coffee on a Sunday morning or something. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, run your game. That's the fun with live YouTube shows. That's yesterday's ad read, not today's ad read. That's on me. Sorry, guys. The Falcons did not play tonight. They played last night. Okay, so game 1, Hurston Waldrep gets the start, and he's not the 27th man. He's up as a standard call-up, so he'll hopefully be around for a while here. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk to 6 strikeouts. And when you look at what he did here, he went back to splitter heavy, and then rather than throwing a poorly shaped, dead zone 4-seam fastball, he went sinker, 4-seam cutter, throwing all 3 fastballs, which if you don't have a good 4-seam fastball, just throw a bunch of different fastballs. That makes perfect sense. But the splitter, again, star of the show, 16 swings, 6 whiffs. Now, here's the thing. When it gets hit hard. 97 mile an hour average velocity. Only 3 were put in play, 93, 97, 101. I thought Hurston Waldrep was one of the better starters that we've had, or one of the best starts we've had in the second half or since the All-Star break today.
I mean, it looked really good. Obviously, I was surprised about all the pitch mix there, 6 different pitches like that. Mm-hmm. And I posted about that, and CJ did respond to me and said that he thinks Savant was maybe not calculating some of those pitches correctly, which they've had a problem with some this year doing so. But either way, you look at it, and what was impressive to me is a 37% CSW. That is what stood out the most to me, because what has plagued Hurston Waldrep the most in his come up is being able to throw strikes. And so, that's called strike plus whiff percentage. So he's getting a ton of called strikes as well. 8 called strikes on, what they're labeling the sinker or 2-seamer that he's throwing there. CJ did talk about that on the broadcast, that Murphy actually suggested that to him, while he was down at Gwinnett throwing that 2-seamer some, but he gets 8 called strikes on it, 5 on curve, 4 on the 4-seamer, 4 on the cutter. So being able to have more pitches that he can throw in the zone for strikes, I mean, that's huge for Hurston Waldrep, because that's been the biggest thing that's holding him back, is just being able to command pitches in the zone. So again, whatever he's throwing, I don't know, it necessarily matters, but the ability to be able to throw them in the zone and have a 37% CSW, I mean, that was shocking to me. To see that number from him, and very encouraging, obviously. And I'm glad that he is on the roster. I know we talked about it yesterday. Thought they might just bring him up as the extra man, and then you can send him back down and maybe bring him back up next time you need him. But he's on the roster, and he's got to be in the rotation now.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, he absolutely needs to be. I thought he was fantastic. Can I just real quick? I'm going to do my thing. 5 swings on the cutter. 4 of those were put into play. Average exit velocity 74.6. I'm just saying there's almost no reason you shouldn't throw a cutter. Like that's if you throw a slider, you throw a 4-seam fastball, throw a cutter. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Game 2 convinced me that Eric Fetty wasn't as bad as it felt in the game. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. And then when you dig into what he actually did, it was 4 pitches, 10 whiffs, 28% CSW, but it felt like when he was giving up contact, it was very hard contact. Am I wrong for thinking that he really struggled to keep the sinker in the zone? I'm sorry, not the zone, keep it off of bats, and just really struggled to be in the zone with anything other than the sinker?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great performance. I'd say the positives here are that he threw 102 pitches, so the Braves got him stretched back out to 100 pitches now. But you throw 102, you hope he's working into the 6th inning or getting through 6 innings.
In a doubleheader, in game 2 of a doubleheader.
I mean, that's really look when Fetty pitches right now, and Carlos Carrasco and Bryce Elder, if he remains in the rotation with Waldrep coming, you're hoping they can get you through 5+ 6 innings of 4-run ball. So I mean, at the end of the day, he gets you through 5 and 4. That's kind of the minimum I think that you're kind of hoping for out of those guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have loved to see him, obviously get into the 6th inning, kind of save the bullpen a little bit. So I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you it was a good start. It wasn't, but it's kind of what you expect from these guys at the moment.
Yeah. Atlanta ends up using, I think it was 7 relievers on the day. Aaron Bummer goes 1 2/3. Isabel comes in and cleans up for him. Outside of that, nobody throws more. I believe nobody throws more than an inning. So they should be good for Sunday. This is Cal Quantrill versus Joey Wentz. So we'll see what happens here. But again, Braves take the doubleheader 7-1 in game 1, 8-6 in game 2. And I'm going to go on the record. I don't know if I said this in the show already or not. I may have said this to you before we got started. I put this out on social media. Drake Baldwin is going to be Miami's version of what Chipper Jones was to the New York. Like in his career, Drake Baldwin is just going to terrorize the New York Mets. I'm sorry, terrorize the Miami Marlins. That's my belief. Right now, 8 career games. He's 13 for 32 with 15 RBI in 8 games, 7 runs scored. And it's just my prediction here is that he's just going to dominate the Miami Marlins. Is that seems?
Yeah, I think they
dominated them.
I think they showed the stat during the game too that was very shocking. He's 6 for 7 with runners in scoring position in this series against the Marlins. Like, get somebody to second and third when he comes to the plate. And that's kind of what I talked about in that first segment. Twice in the second game, he just shot a ball the other way to get a hit and drive a run in. So I think he's good. He's probably going to have some. He's going to terrorize a lot of teams the way that he's swinging.
There we go. All right, we are back tomorrow. Again, Cal Quantrill versus Joey Wentz. That's at 1:35. We'll have a postcast for you after that. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. A lot of Falcons content coming from them. A lot of some Hawk stuff coming online here. And then obviously plenty of Braves content over there. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.